Greetings. It's Sunday, the 6th of April 2025. It's Marcel Williams here again with another talk. I trust that everyone is well and doing good with what they're busy with. I've been teaching on biblical prophecy, but yet again I'm going to detour a little and talk about Africa again. I have spoken about Africa in my last video, and I want to just expand on the thoughts that I shared there. So go ahead and please like and share my videos, and I appreciate all those who are viewing my videos and sharing them. Now, Africa, I pointed out in my previous video, has been involved in a lot of theft from its resources. So the first point I made was that Africa is regarded as the undeveloped countries, and much of that undevelopment is through thefts and very bad deals with superpowers in terms of their raw materials. So Africa has been largely exploited, and even to this day, we got this term neo-colonialism, which is going on. So the mother countries no longer have a political control of the countries, but they have economic control over the resources that are in these countries. So this terrible situation is perpetuated by corrupt African leaders, presidents that are puppets of these Western countries. And all of this has stemmed from the colonial system, which was perpetrated by mostly European countries, and they divided up Africa in the late 1800s, where they had a conference in Berlin. So that all of that is history. But the last video I talked about was the coup d'etats that were taking place in West Africa. And I explained what is a coup d'etat. So if you are unacquainted with some of these terms and a bit of this history, please consult my previous video where I explain some of the detail of it. And this coup d'etats in West Africa were mostly for countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and Gabon. Now, they are basically referred to as the EOS countries, and opposed to them was is the ECOWAS, ECOWAS, which is basically countries that are against coup d'etats and this form of military rule, military junta in countries like Burkina Faso. And one of the countries in the ECOWAS has broken ranks, Ghana, and they are actually following along with AOS, which is basically inspired and led by Traore, Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. As I pointed out in my previous video, he's been doing some wonderful things for the country, even that he's not a politically elected person, but as a leader of his people, is doing some wonderful things there in West Africa, and other African countries are now inspired to fall behind with him there. Now, the point that I want to stress and to enlarge upon was the last point I made in that video, where I said that it's unacceptable that Christian countries in the West have been perpetrating and perpetuating this skewed arrangement of neo-colonialism, where raw materials are gained from Africa at very low prices, and it's causing many African countries to remain undeveloped. So Christian countries One of the things that I find quite difficult to comprehend is that so-called Christian countries have an acceptance of this arrangement for centuries, one would say, not even decades, centuries. And when I say they perpetuated it, these Christians, and don't get me wrong that I'm criticizing Christians, I'm talking about the group, the countries that claim to be Christian, but they voted in the people who are basically perpetuating the skewed situation. So they are in acceptance of this arrangement. But when you look at the Bible and true Christian values and the teachings of Christ, we look at the thing called righteousness and justice. Now, where's the righteousness and justice where this kind of modern slavery is perpetuated in a very fancy way called neocolonialism? The scriptures are full of righteousness and judgment, yet these countries are perpetuating this, and they have no business doing it. And the citizens are basically unaware, and basically, I would say, also in acceptance of this arrangement, because they gain from the exploitation of the raw materials in Africa. Now, just to remind you, in a previous video, I pointed out, for instance, the strange anomaly that a church was built over the holding cells of the captured Africans who were to be shipped off across the Atlantic Ocean to the Americas and the Caribbean. And churches are built so that Christians can worship in the churches, but to me, it's the worst. I don't even have the words to explain this or to coin this, but I hope you understand what I'm saying, that it's actually contrary to everything that is Christian values, that this can be done and we can worship above in the church. And you can go to West Africa, to these places, and find like museums and historical sites where this is still available for tourists to go and see for themselves what has taken place. So I am a Christian, I go to church, but I need to bring to you or others more awareness to this misspeak between what's happening and true Christian values, which, as I pointed out, is the striving for righteousness and justice. So on this fine Sunday, I just want to leave you with that thought to ponder. Where do we stand, on this issue? I am in favor of what is called Pan-Africanism. My basis for this thought is not of a political nature, but because I love justice. Because if we are Christians and we love God, we would love God's word, which is the Bible, and the word teaches us about righteousness, justice, and truth. So have a great Sunday going further.